So 18 lakh in revenue being a college student is very big. For each and every meeting that they go, I'm a college and startup. Mine is the only startup in our college.
And on the other side, you would have your parents or family questioning, ki, why are you being a delivery boy?
This is what I did. This is the amount of money that I got. Now this is the time when I'll start earning. My starting salary was 37,500 per month. So if I earn my money, I need not go to them and ask them for each and everything. I got the offer letter. Within a week, I showed it to my uncle. And my uncle said, he called up my mom came down, then my mom called me, I came down, ఒక వుడెన్ చైర్ తీసుకొని ఇక్కడి నుంచి అక్కడికి నా మీద తీసిరాడు.
Hey Dras,
Hi Mohit.
it's good to have you here.
Same here.
So I was just checking your LinkedIn and running it through ChatGPT, and I've got a lot of points here. You built your first business when you were 18, scaled another to 13 lakhs before 10 months in college, and exited your last startup at a valuation north of $1 million before you were 30. So, and also you have led business teams before 25,
Right.
international business teams.
Right.
So where does this all begin for you, and how are you such an a different person?
Okay, for me, it's all about not staying idle. I always loved chaos. I always loved movement. I just can't sit idle. I just have to do something. If not, that itch or that bug will eat me up alive. That is what I always believed in, and that is how I lived across. So the first business that you're referring to when I was in 18, it is on paper it might look very fancy, but the thing is it's a simple grocery delivery system. So this all started when every Sunday my mom had to go 5-6 kilometers away to a Raitu Bazaar and get everything home. She had to carry all those 2 bags all by herself, get in an auto and come back home. And similarly all the other houses are also doing the same in my colony. So I thought, why can't I just group this order, buy everything myself, come back to home and package it according to the order and then deliver it to their houses? And what if I can take a delivery fee of just 15 rupees or 20 rupees?
Hmm.
This is what Blinkit and Zepto are doing right now. Apart
Yes.
from that, they have a warehouse. So that is actually my first business idea. And then when I realized that I can actually make money out of this, I was like, I know that this is something that is working, and I was able to get 15 or 20 rupees per delivery, and I can do 200 to 250 deliveries in one particular day or in one particular week.
200 deliveries.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically multiple deliveries in the same apartment, something like that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
my colony it has almost 200 or 250 houses, or 200 250 families. So I used to just go on to their homes to on Friday. I used to give them a pamphlet, and they used to write everything, quantity, name of the vegetable, etc. So I used to just group those orders, go to Raid Bazaar, get all of them packed, and get it to my home on Sunday morning, and pack everything accordingly based on the order, and deliver it by Sunday afternoon. That is what I used to do. So just multiply 15 or 20 rupees into 200. That is one 15 or 20 rupees into 200 deliveries, and that is my revenue. It's not profit, it's revenue on that one particular day. So that is how my first business started. And then from there again, I just couldn't sit idle. I was in Vizag. I was primarily from Vizag. And then I started looking into how can I make my next startup, or how can I actually do business. That is what I was looking out for. And for that, I figured out that I need to have experience first. I can't just go directly and do a business. Or if I have to do a startup, I just can't directly jump into it. And so that's when my journey began. I joined this company called Workroot. It's a startup back at that point of time. And later on, they went across to raise a $500,000 in USD. And I worked with them for 3 years. And then I started my own company. So that's how the entire journey started.
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. So, how did you balance all these commitments with college and everything, right? Because you were that in college in your first year, that extra bit of money that you're getting was obviously very lucrative. And on the other side, you would have your parents or family questioning, ki, why are you being a delivery boy or being those people who deliver vegetables and everything? You have a degree and everything, right? So, what was going on in your mind back then?
So okay, so the first thing, when I got this idea, I didn't tell this to my parents. I didn't tell this to my dad. What I did is I did the initial research. If I had to go get groceries in bulk, who should I meet with? Should I directly meet the farmer, or there is someone called as an estate officer for every Raitu Bazaar? So should I go and speak with him? So I did that groundwork. I figured out, yes, this is how I want to do, or if this is what I want to do, and this is the playbook for that. So I figured out that playbook, and then I went to my dad and told him, and then I went to my mom and told him. My dad straight away agreed. Classic middle class fathers who doesn't want their sons to do random odd jobs. So my father treated this as an odd job. So right after that, my mom convinced my dad, and after I did my first 2 weeks of deliveries, and then my dad understood, Acha, I'm doing this out of passion so that I learn or do something. And this is exactly during my summer break. I was about to join engineering. Right, exactly during that summer break, I had like 2 3 months free time. So that was when I was doing it. So
Wonderful.
right after that, everything just fell into the place. But that typical middle class Indian mindset, whatever we have, my father had that straight up. So he wanted me to crack IIT, I couldn't do it. He wanted me to crack NIT, I couldn't do it. And I was able to crack architecture. Back at that point of time, for NITs, we had the JEE mains. Alongside JEE mains, there is another exam for architecture. I was able to crack NIT in architecture, but since my dad or since my family couldn't understand me being an architect or architecture as a profession, they couldn't understand it. The only thing they knew is engineering, so they were hell bent that I should join engineering. And I was also like, cool, if that's the way forward, let's try it, let's do it. How bad can it go, or what bad can happen? So that's the entire mindset. And then I joined engineering, and everything just fell into the place right after that.
Wonderful. So you mentioned 250 people you were delivering this is like per day, per week. On an average, you're delivering 200, and how often do you used to deliver?
So this is these 250 orders. So I used to do this once a week. All
Okay.
right, because of this frequency that I've seen, all the families go to this Raitu Bazaar and get all the groceries per week.
Okay.
So I used to do these deliveries once in a week. That's on either on Saturday or on Sunday.
Okay. And how much were you making per week or a monthly basis?
The start, I used to charge 15 rupees per delivery, and then I increased it to 20 rupees per delivery. I could observe the churn, but I'm just taking away their hassle of going to a Raid Bazaar, getting everything, picking everything that is fresh and bringing it back. And they have to pay auto charges, which was 5 rupees or 7 rupees back then from my colony to the nearest Raid Bazaar. So it's just taking 20 rupees, and 20 rupees didn't matter much to everyone. So they were okay paying it up. And there were a couple of families that were giving 2 to 3 different orders, which means that there is only one family in that building, but they used to give 2 or 3 different orders. And I used to get like 40 or 60 rupees from all those orders, just from one particular building or one particular apartment. So that worked on. So it's basic math. 20 rupees per delivery. On an average, I used to do 200 or 250 deliveries per week. That's it. Nothing much, nothing more
Wonderful.
than that.
I'm just curious. My question is, did your father ask this question on if you would take a typical job on an average, how much do you earn there and how much you were earning with this on like a calculated estimate?
Okay. At that point, we are from a typical middle class family, all right. At one point of time, we might be an above middle class family, but later on, when I was in my engineering, we are a typical middle class family. At that point of time, the only two options that I have is you either crack IIT or NIT or any of the competitive exams and get into a good college, or you go to a private college where my dad is okay or my family is okay spending 12 lakh to 15 lakh for whole BTech, but not 20 25 lakh or anything as such. At that point of time, the only thing that my family knows is they have to make me study, they have to make me get into engineering only in either ECE or CSC. Why? Because I have two of my cousins who are already finished their engineering in ECE, and they got into core. They worked at companies like Quillip and Philips as an engineers. As an electronics and communication engineer or something of that sort, which is ideally a core job. So my family wanted me to do the same. So I had only two options. One, you crack a good competitive exam, get into a college, take up an ECE, take up an EC seat over there or ECE department and finish engineering. If not, go study in a local college and again do ECE itself. So there's nothing more than that. And at that point of time, also I'm 18. I know I had this clarity that I wanted to do a business just to test it out how it works, but I didn't have that much amount of clarity on, yes, this is the right college that I have to get into. For me, it's just that engineering. Yes, I just want to do engineering. That's the only thing that I knew. And
Dras, what I wanted to actually know specifically is did your father calculate that if you land up in an IIT or a three-tier college and and you might get an average job of that time 7 LPA, 8 LPA, 10 LPA, I'm not sure. Please tell me, let me know the number. And how much were you making on this business? And if you were like, and you're not working full time on it, you were just spending like 20% of your energy. So I wanted to know the numbers here from the money from the business, the money from the job.
Okay. So at that point of time, this is what back my engineering time was 2013 to 2017 or 2018, around that time, 4 years over there. So at that point of time, the average jobs were, at least in Vizag, from the campus placements, somewhere ranging from 4 lakh to 7 lakh per annum. That is the basic median for any fresher or entry level jobs. So my father, he was completely against me doing this grocery delivery because they don't understand the term startup, or they don't understand they might understand business, but this didn't seem like a pretty well good business or well built business, or they didn't see this as something that is scalable. Now they understand Blinkit, Swiggy, Instamart, etc., right? And they used to laugh it out like all of them started right now, but this is something that you have tried when you were an 18-year-old kid. So all of that is there. The calculated risk over here is my dad took an oath from me: you will only do this till you join engineering, just because you're free. So right after you join engineering, you're gonna close all of it and you're gonna concentrate on your studies. And I had that 2 years or three. I had that 2 month or 3 month period because my counseling got delayed.
Okay,
I wrote all the exams. My admission seat or the counseling that just got delayed. So that is why I had that amount of time.
got it. So once you start, I mean, it's funny that you eventually get into the startup line, and again, the story changes. So what was going on in your mind once you started going to classes? How did you feel?
One thing that fucked up for me is this Happy Days, this movie called Happy Days of Shekhar Kamula, which exactly portrays how engineering colleges. That is when I figured out that I'll join into an engineering college. But after I flunked out in IITs and NIT examinations, the only option that I was left out with: join any private college with hefty fees, or join a college through fee reimbursement so that I can only pay a lower amount. So that is when I've joined this college called Raghu Engineering College. And right after I stepped into my first year, when I see everyone that's sitting across over there, the kind of conversations and everything that builds up, on the very first day, I figured out that maybe this is not my cup of tea. Because when you are in engineering, you'll choose friends. Okay, so when you're in engineering, you don't choose your friends. You will make friends just like that. Now, how? Based on maybe your mental models, or based on the thinking capability, or based on the ideology, that is how you make friends. But when I got into this particular college, I couldn't find anyone as such, and there were only 3 or 4 people that I could really vibe with. So the first day I sat in the college, the first year it was completely fun. I was able to understand why did I join engineering. So my goals were satisfied with respect to learning, having fun, etc. and etc. What fucked me up over is the second year, starting from second year, when I couldn't understand why am I doing this. Signals and processing as a subject, I never understood what's the importance of it. And then we were asked to do a couple of experiments as a lab, or there is one part that is theory and the
Theory,
other part that is
practicals.
laboratory.
Mm.
So I never understood why I should do this lab, and I just couldn't satisfy myself. So I have to do something else to get myself satisfied, and that is when I started out my second startup while I was in college. So the first one you can't actually call it as a startup, and the second one also you can't actually call it as a startup because I haven't registered anything. Just like I have this idea, let me try it out. If I can make money out of it, that money is what matters to me at this point of time.
Okay, so what was the second startup?
So my idea is about selling notebooks at a very cheaper price. All right. So the classmate and any other notebooks, they are priced at 30 rupees or 35 rupees. Then I figured out at the start of every semester, each and every student usually buys 5 or 6 notebooks in bulk, and they'll pay 30 rupees or 35 rupees per notebook. So, but what if I manufacture my own notebooks and reduce the selling price? And if I can sell it at 25 rupees, the 35 rupees costed notebook, what if I can sell it at 27 or 28 rupees? That 7 rupees discount for students into 5, that makes it 35 rupees as a discounted price. Maybe people will buy my notebooks. For that, what I did is I did two things. One, I started placing ads at the last page of the notebook, and these ads are actually from businesses, small and medium businesses that are around this particular college. For example, my first market was Raghu Engineering College. Near Raghu Engineering College, we had Fresh Choice at that point of time, and Vizianagaram is near to it. And in Vizianagaram, there is some food court. So these businesses, I told them that I'll place your ads in these notebooks for each ad that I put, which means that for one notebook, you pay me just 1 rupee or 2 rupee. So, like that, if I'm printing 5,000 notebooks, I used to charge 5,000 or 10,000 rupees from one business. I used to place their ad on the last page of the notebook, and I used to add their coupon so that whoever is buying, they can just cut their coupons, go to that store, they get a 10% or 20% discount. So it's a win-win for both the business and for me.
Wonderful.
Alongside that, that is how I started it first. And the 35 rupees notebook, I used to reduce the selling price of it by 20. I brought it down to 27 or 28 rupees, and I was able to sell that. And later on, to make it much more interesting, what I did is I got very good designs on the cover page, and I started selling five books as a bunch. So Marvel series is one, Barbie series was one, and then someone asked me, why don't you print a Pawan Kalyan phased notebooks, etc. So I started making good bundles, and I started doing drops of it. So where in this particular drop, I'm doing Marvel. In this particular drop, I'm doing DC. This particular drop, I'm doing anime or any other comic style. So that's how it all started.
Wonderful. So, what was your childhood like, Dras, that you made you very, entrepreneur at an early age? In the before you went to university, you were trying to sell out groceries, and it's a profitable business. There are like so many startups from so many accelerators, and they crash billions of dollars. They run in losses for years and for quarters, God knows what. And you're profitable day one. So it's a very business and entrepreneur mindset the same. So where do you think this comes from? This thought
Okay,
process.
okay. So this entire thought process is actually a very personal suffering of mine. All right, we were not very well-fetched family at that point of time. Maybe back then we were, but after that we faced huge losses. My dad faced huge losses and all of that in his business and his professional life. But personal life was all good because my mom was able to take care of home and everything. But at that point of time, I very well remember this was when I was in class seventh or class eighth during summer holidays, summer break. I wanted to go swimming, go learn swimming, and I had to pay 1,500 for swimming fee. When I asked that to my parents, they were like, "We don't have that much of amount of money right now. We'll see it later on stages." The next summer break, I remember I wanted to join into karate taekwondo, and they couldn't do it to me. They couldn't allow me to go there because of the financial reasons. And then I also wanted to learn guitar. This was when I was in class ninth or class 10th. I wanted to learn guitar because I wanted to be that cool person in college or in school who knows how to play a guitar. And my family couldn't afford that at that point of time. They were able to give all basic amenities that needs to be covered, all important things. Now, all of these, they felt that this is a little extra.
Hmm.
Simple as that. So they didn't have that much amount of money to do it. So my entire concept is, why do I have to ask money to my parents? Why can't I just earn it by myself? So that if I earn my money, I need not go to them and ask them for each and everything. At that point of time, we didn't have internet. I used to pay 10 rupees or 15 rupees per hour at an internet cafe to browse stuff. All right. And we didn't have that much amount of money, or we didn't have a computer at home. So we couldn't do it. So my entire concept is, why can't I spend some extra hours at somewhere putting up my skills or putting up whatever I have and earn that particular extra bit so that I can cover up a couple of things on my own and need not ask money from my parents. Simple as that.
Wonderful. So once you got your first major paycheck, like maybe 10 or 50,000 in your bank, what did you actually spend it on?
It's not the first 50,000, but the I don't exactly remember what I bought first, but there is this one thing that I bought. I got flowers and sweets, and I gave those flowers to my mom, and I gave those sweets to everyone at my home, and I told them that this is what I did. This is the amount of money that I got. Now this is the time when I'll start earning. The first instance, they were not happy, they were shocked, because someone who's 18-year 19-year old who has to ask pocket money to parents, if this guy is getting money in hand, what will be his future? Because every middle class family, what usually happens when you have money in hand, that is when they start that is when the kids tend to go sideways. So my family was very much scared of what I'm gonna do, or what I'm gonna go across and do ahead, or what I'm gonna become. So they were pretty much scared.
That's really sweet, man. And how are things with friends and in university? And you were in college also, right? And you must have a lot of friends in Vishakhapatnam. So how were they reacting? They were like, "Oh, you make money. Oh, you're gonna pay for everyone's bills." Was it something like that, or people were inspired and they wanted to be like you, like join you and do things like scale things up, something like that?
Okay. Let me ask you a question. The friends that you had in your school or in your college, let's say there is some. Does your dad have a did your dad have a car when you were in college?
Yes,
Okay. So the other friends that you had, their families were also on the same financial level as yours.
somewhat. Yes, more or less. Yeah.
Majority of them,
Yes.
all right. So in my friends group everywhere, I was the least financial backgrounded person over there.
Okay.
All right. So that was actually very lucky for me, to be very honest, because my class 9th and class 10th, I was in hostel of Ravindra Bharati school. My parents thought that I'm going sideways or I'm being rebel, that teenage time that you'll have, going rebel. So they thought that it is best if they put me in hostel. So when I went into the hostel, I couldn't make friends among hostelers, so I had day scholars as my friends. All of them are financially well off than me, so they used to get me food every afternoon.
Okay.
Every Saturdays, their parents used to come down and take me to outings. I used to spend my weekends at their home. They used to buy me. I remember the first burger that I ate. A friend of mine bought it. A friend of mine took me to Domino's first. A friend of mine took me to McD and KFC first, because at that point of time, all of those are little extras to me. My family couldn't take us over there. Maybe buying one pizza might not cost a lot, but taking two kids, and we live in a joint family, and there are other kids as well. So taking all of them to a Domino's or somewhere seemed like a pricey affair to my family. But basic things or primary things that is needed for a kid, all of them are sorted. These extra things are something that my family was always keeping an eye on. Now, when it comes to friends, I was very fortunate across my life, even till now, that I had amazing set of friends. All right, in college, in school, starting from school, I had 12 to 13 group friends, a mix of guys and girls. All the girls are married right now. Two of the guys are married right now. We are still in touch. At this point of time, if I call them and if I tell them that I'm in an emergency and if I need 1 lakh, they'll send 2 lakhs. I have that set of friends. Right after that, I've joined college, and in college I was only friends with four of them, straight from first year to final year, and they were again amazing set of friends. And then I have another group of friends in ISEC. ISEC is again this youth run organization which I was a part of, primarily from the Vizag region, and then I worked on the national level as well. So I had pretty good friends over there, and all of them are again very good person, are very good in nature, and all of them, I'd not say they're jealous of me, but in friends group, what usually happen, if someone is going across in their life or someone is doing good, people usually get jealous. But all the friends that I have, they were not jealous. They were like, boss, I couldn't do it, or I don't have the skill set to do it, or I don't have the idea to do it. Maybe because you're doing it, let me support you across. Simple example, the book startup, when I started it up across, I didn't had good enough money. I didn't had good enough money to start it, because if I had to print 5,000 notebooks, I have to at least pay 20 rupees per notebook to the manufacturer, right? I didn't have that amount of money. So all my friends put together some amount of money and they gave it to me and they asked me to start it up across. So that's the kind of friends that I have. And even till now, the last acquisition, my startup acquisition, that has happened because of a friend. The last startup that I've started it along with a friend of mine. So I've been very much fortunate in life with respect to the kind of friends that I always had.
Wonderful, man. Wonderful journey. So, in college, when people found out that you are the one who was selling books for a cheaper price, and people can see that you're advertising other brands, so a lot of people who are not in your blessed close friend circle, other people in class who are not very well fortuned, and everyone has an eye out for money. Everyone looks out for quick money in terms of college. So, did you have those people approaching you, and simultaneously, did you think of expanding the same model to other universities throughout your city?
Yeah. Uh, okay. So the first thing is the scale is always a problem over there. And in a non-tech business, which is core like this, scaling up is always different, and transportation is always different. If you know the city of Vizag, my books used to get printed near passport office. From passport office, I used to take all those 5,000 or 10,000 books to my home. And from my home, I used to carry all those books to my college. So what I used to usually do is, all of these classrooms do have CRs. I used to give 5 or 6 books to that CR for free of cost.
Okay.
Usko chhod ke, there are few girls in that particular classroom. See, CSE department is full of girls. There are a lot of guys behind these girls. So I used to give my books for free of cost to these girls. They used to flaunt it. They used to click photos and put it on Instagram. They used to flaunt it in their classrooms. And when I slowly spiked interest in my college, that is when I understood the demand of it. That is when I understood the demand of it. And then I gave these free books to all the CRs, and I told them, you collect orders from your classroom and you give money to me in bulk. One day I'll get all these books and I'll give it to you. So this happened, and this was a very good playbook that I've created. And then slowly I figured out a couple of friends from colleges nearby. There's Lendi nearby, there's MVGR nearby, there's Anits nearby, and there are a couple more smaller colleges nearby. So I made friends in those colleges, and all those CRs and everyone came in. So what I used to generally do is, these CRs, class representatives, whoever used to get orders for me, and I used to deliver my books to him, and he used to go across and distribute. These CRs I used to give free books to these CRs, and they used to get the things done. So that's the beauty of startups when you are in college, because everyone, they don't expect money out of it. Simple as that. They'll either try to help a friend, or they'll either do it because they are cool. ఇది కాకుండా these CRs that you find in your college, uh, వీళ్ళందరూ they are a different breed. Okay, I don't know why they do all those works. They get Xeroxes done. They are typically chimchas of HODs or
Sometimes spending money, what I don't like. See, as long as it doesn't cost you money, it's fine. But when they're asking you to go buy a marker,
uh,
buy something, that is really.
but these years they usually used to do it. So that is where I figured it out. Maybe they want to look cool, and I figured out that my product is cool. So why not I run my business through them? In return, I'll just give them few books, which doesn't cost me much of a money. Simple as that.
Wonderful, man. And what about scaling to other universities?
Yep. So scaling to other universities at that point of time was actually a big task, because one, distribution, second one, transportation, that thing is there. So what I did is I only scaled it out to 4 or 5 universities that are around my college. So I did my college at Raghu. So all the colleges that are around this, I figured out who are the CRs, and I figured out who are the influencers in that particular college. And again, I started giving books for free to all of them. And then I made friends with CRs. They used to get orders for me, and I used to go deliver it across to them. At that point of time, one big plus for me is a friend of mine has this transportation auto. So they had a worker, so he used to lend that auto to me, and that worker, I just used to pay for petrol. The other benefit that I always had is, there is another friend of mine who used to come to college in car. So at that point of time, back in 2013, 2014, that too in a college like Raghu, getting going to college on a car is a very big affair. So a friend of mine used to have a car, and he used to transport these books and everything to me. So that helped out. That helped out a lot. And plus that, friends of friends. And back at that point of time, we used to have these Facebook pages which were very much popular. For example, fashions of Raghu or items of Raghu, something of that sort. There's a name for it. And all these colleges used to have those Facebook pages. I used to speak with the admins of these pages, and I used to get my ads and everything run. I used to get my ads and everything run on those particular pages. At times, it is for money. I used to give 200, 300 rupees per post. At times, it's just for free. So, my friends' network at that point of time, they had it all cracked it out. And alongside that, scaling it up in my own university, I had that playbook. All I had to do is I just have to repeat that playbook for each college. It is a similar story what Tinder and Bumble, not Bumble, it is similar story what Tinder did at universities to increase their signups. I followed a similar playbook here.
Wonderful. And how did it turn out at other universities? Was it going as effective as because your friends are involved and you know the people in CR, and you can't execute the same thought process in other universities? So what were the roadblocks there, and what was the point when you thought it was not efficient to do that?
No, it was just viral. My notebooks were all just viral because I'll
Okay.
tell you, you and I are sitting on the same table. నా నోట్బుక్ మీద ఐ హ్యావ్ బ్యాట్‌మ్యాన్. ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ ఫినిష్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్‌లో ఐ హాడ్ ఎ సూపర్ మ్యాన్ ఆన్ మై నోట్బుక్. ఆ నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్‌లో ఐ హాడ్ ఫ్లాష్ ఆన్ మై notebook. Your notebooks are pretty boring, classic, brilliant notebooks which had randomized designs and everything. So I seem to be very much cool at that point of time. At that point of time, being cool in college is everything. Simple as that. ఒక్కొక్కడు స్పైక్స్ తీసుకొని వచ్చాడు కాలేజ్‌కి. ఒక్కొక్కడు బ్యాండ్స్ పెట్టుకొని వచ్చాడు కాలేజ్‌కి. Why is that? That is all because they want to be cool. They
Mm.
want to be viral. So I figured out what is that virality in the notebook, and I got it done. So as I said, I figured out the playbook in my college, and I implemented the same in other college. But the only major problem is the distribution and delivering the orders and everything was a bit tricky because I'll not have direct access into that particular college. That's the only problem. But apart from that, it's all simple. At that point of time, how much it is? The product is very simple. It is 30 rupees notebook, which you're buying it out for 25 rupees. Or even if the MRP is 30 rupees, 5 books will cost 150 rupees. That 150 rupees is equal to one Thick Shake Factory item. Simple as
Okay.
that. So it was pretty much easier to sell it. The problem that I faced across over there is I couldn't repeat this again and again. When I say couldn't repeat this again and again, there is always a shelf life for a product. For example, Colgate toothpaste. నువ్వు కోల్గేట్ టూత్పేస్ట్ తెచ్చా అంటే ఆ టూత్పేస్ట్ ఒక 1 month నువ్వు యూస్ చేస్తావు. యూస్ చేసిన తర్వాత యుల్ ఓన్లీ బై అన్ అనదర్ టూత్పేస్ట్ వెన్ దిస్ ఇస్ ఫినిష్డ్. ఇంజినీరింగ్ కాలేజ్లో వచ్చే ఫస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే మన కుర్రోళ్ళు నోట్బుక్స్ రాయరు. సో దట్ నోట్బుక్ లిటరలీ దే యూస్ టు యూజ్ ఇట్ ఫర్ ద హోల్ సెమిస్టర్.
Okay.
Okay. And even if they finish that notebook, ఒక్క notebook కొనడానికి నా వరకు రారు. They used to go to a nearby stationery or anything as such. So my product has become seasonal, which is I was able to sell it only at the start of a semester, and I just couldn't repeat that cycle at every given point of time. Simple as that.
Got it, man. And what was the next venture and when did you drop out? Like if I'm asking two big questions at the same time, I want to know where was the point where you thought of dropping out?
Okay, so this dropping out, I don't want anyone to take this as an example, because when you drop out from Harvard or any bigger universities, that is when you can say it proud. But when you drop out from colleges like Raghu, Geetam, or Gayatri Vidya Parishad, that is not why you should be very much proud of. For me, it is this clarity movement, all right? Because I couldn't understand what I'm doing sitting in that particular college or in that particular class, all right? I used to be a very rebel kind of kid. back then. While in college, I used to be very rebel. I never liked that constant things. I always wanted to build. I always wanted to try. I always wanted to fail. All of these things are there. But what college teaches you discipline, consistency, doing the same thing again and again. You might learn new things in college, yes, but ఆ థియరీ పార్ట్ అన్నది ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో, టు సింప్లీ పుట్ ఇట్ అప్, నీకు ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తున్నారు, ఓకే, ఆర్ ఎల్స్ నీకు ఒక ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ చెప్తున్నారు. ఈ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్లోని ఒక స్పార్క్ అనేది ఇలా క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది అని అంటారు, లేదంటే ఒక సిగ్నల్ అన్నది నువ్వు ఇలా డిటెక్ట్ చేయాలి అని అంటారు. హౌ ఆర్ దే టెలింగ్ ఇట్? బ్లాక్ బోర్డ్‌లో నీకు డ్రాయింగ్స్ గీసేసి ఇదిలా ఉంటుంది అని ఇమాజిన్ చేసుకోండి అని చెప్తారు. ఐయామ్ ఎ కిడ్ హూ ఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ ఇమాజినేటివ్. బట్ వాటెవర్ దే ఆర్ టీచింగ్, వాట్ ఇఫ్ ఐయామ్ అనేబుల్ టు ఇమాజిన్ దట్? సింపుల్ యాస్ దట్. అండ్ ఐ ఫిగర్డ్ ఔట్ దట్ ఎవ్రీవన్ ఇన్ మై కాలేజ్ ఆర్ ఎవ్రీవన్ ఇన్ మై క్లాస్ రూమ్ హూ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ గుడ్ గ్రేడ్స్ ఆర్ జస్ట్ బై హార్టింగ్ స్టఫ్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ అనేబుల్ టు ఫిగర్ ఇట్ ఔట్. స్కూల్‌లో ఉండేటప్పుడు అంతా యూ హ్యావ్ దీస్ ఎక్సీడ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఆర్ యూ హ్యావ్ గుడ్ డిజిటల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్స్ విచ్ యూజ్డ్ టు టీచ్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్ వెరీ విచ్ యూజ్డ్ టు టీచ్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్ ఇన్ డిజిటల్ బోర్డ్. ఈ ఫ్లాస్క్‌లో ఈ కెమికల్ ఉంది, ఈ ఫ్లాస్క్‌లో ఈ కెమికల్ ఉంది. 2 కలిపితే ఈ కలర్‌లోకి మారుతది. నీకు కొత్త కెమికల్ వస్తది. దే డూ ఇట్ బై ఎక్స్‌పెరిమెంట్. బట్ ఇన్ యువర్ ఇంజినీరింగ్ కాలేజ్ ఇట్స్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ థియరీ. ల్యాబ్స్ ఉన్నా సరే అవేవో మొక్కుబడిగా చేయాలి అన్నట్టుగా ఉండేది. సో, ఐ వాస్ వెరీ మచ్ ఫ్రస్ట్రేటెడ్ అండ్ ఐ కుడెంట్ అండర్‌స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఐయామ్ డూయింగ్. అప్పుడు ఐ స్లోలీ స్టార్టెడ్ బంకింగ్ మై కాలేజ్ బికాస్ మై బిజినెస్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ అవుట్ వెల్. I was in this particular constant mindset that I just have to go to college and I just have to write exams and nothing much. 75% attendance కన్నా తక్కువ ఉంది అంటే I used to submit medical certificates. And luckily, staff in my college were very much supportive of mine. But towards the end, just because my attendance was not up to the mark, I was told that I'll be detained and I was asked to drop out. ఆ టైంలో కూడా my college staff, they tried a lot. They tried a lot to convince the principal and assistant HODs and everyone, but even they couldn't do it because of few particular rules and regulations, etc. And they asked me to
They
repeat
couldn't
that year.
detain you, or they to keep you. The rule was trending in which direction?
No, the rule is if I don't get 75% attendance, I have to submit a letter and I have to pay condition fee. 65% or 50% కన్నా తక్కువ ఉంది అని అంటే they'll have to detain me. సో ఎవ్రీ సెమిస్టర్‌కి కొంతమందిని డిటైన్ చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చారు. బట్ వెన్ మై టైమ్ కేమ్, దిస్ వాస్ వెన్ ఐ వాస్ ఇన్ 3-2. I don't remember. It was 3-1 or 3-2. I don't remember. Sorry, it was 3-1 semester exams. My attendance percentage is negligible, to be very honest. But my staff still gave fake attendance, wrong attendance, all of that. They were very much supportive because I'm doing something tangible which other students are not doing it. Simple as that. They tried a lot to keep me, but there were rules and regulations in place at that point of time with NAC accreditation, NBA accreditation, etc. They couldn't cover it up. So they told me that I have to take a drop and I have to repeat that year with my juniors.
Okay.
So that is when I was like, cool, if I'm getting detained, I'll see what I can do and all of that. So for 4 months or 5 months, I was very much free because I got detained in 3-1. Juniors 3-1 kapade raru. 3-1 is the only, my batch is the only batch that is doing 3-1, third year, first semester at that moment. So I have to wait for 4 months or 5 months for the semester to end so that the juniors will come to 3-1 and I can repeat my 3-1 along with them.
So you got yourself 4 months of time.
Yeah. This 4 months of time, that is, I joined a job. I joined, maybe this might not reflect on my LinkedIn, but I joined a small startup in Vizag for 25,000 per month, 25,000 salary per month as a BD guy, business development. And this is a local IT startup. Take it as a local IT startup. My job is go to freelancer, go to golance.coms, see if there are any projects that are asking for which this company can do, and I just have to bid and get projects. That's the work that I had to do. So at that point of time, those 4 months I earned 1 lakh, 25,000 per month as a salary. So this is when I was in third year of my college. Everyone back at my college are preparing hard to get into 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh LPA jobs over there. So coming back to the story, my juniors came to 3-1. My HOD called me up and I was like, your juniors came, no college ravali and everything. At that point of time, I was wearing a beige color pant and I was wearing a same dark shaded shirt and I'm getting into college. ఆ కాలేజ్ గేట్ దగ్గర నా ఫ్రెండ్స్ అందరూ వెయిటింగ్ నా కోసం. వీడు వస్తాడు, వీడిని కలుద్దాం. ఐ టోల్డ్ దెమ్ నాకు చాలా సిగ్గుగా ఉంది జూనియర్స్ తెలిసి చదువుకోవాలి అంటే ఎట్ దిస్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ బికాస్ ఇన్ కాలేజ్ దాట్ ఈస్ వెరీ టెర్రిఫిక్ ఆర్ మేబీ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ హారిబుల్. నువ్వు సెకండ్ ఇయర్లో ఉండి నువ్వు ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ని ఎవరినైతే ర్యాక్ చేసావో, ఎవరినైతే కేటీ అడిగావో, ఎవరినైతే తూర్ పెట్టరా అంటే అటు చూపిస్తాడు, నువ్వు అటు తిరిగి నిల్చో అని అన్నావు, నువ్వు మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళతో ఇయర్ రిపీట్ చేయాలంటే దట్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఎంబారసింగ్. సో ఇట్స్ ద సేమ్ ఫర్ మీ. దెన్ అగైన్ మై ఫ్రెండ్స్ మేడ్ ష్యూర్ దట్ ఐ కమ్ టు ద కాలేజ్. సో నన్ను లిటరల్లీ బెదిరించి నన్ను తీసుకొని వచ్చి కాలేజ్ దగ్గరికి తీసుకొని వచ్చారు. The very first moment I got into the classroom where all my juniors are sitting, I have to go and sit with them. I was wearing proper in shirt and I had my side laptop bag. The moment I entered into the classroom, everyone stood up. They thought that I was a lecturer
Oh,
because అప్పటికే మనకు కొంచెం గడ్డాలు ఉండేవి, మీసాలు ఉండేవి, అండ్ ఐ యూస్ టు బీ ప్రాపర్లీ గ్రూమ్డ్. ఐ వోర్ ప్రాపర్ ఫార్మల్స్. కాలేజ్లో ఫార్మల్స్ వేసుకొని ఎవడు వెళ్తాడు? సింపుల్ యాజ్ దట్. ఆడ్ లైక్ ప్రాపర్ ఫార్మల్స్ అప్పుడే ప్లెయిన్గా ఐరన్ చేసిన షర్ట్ వేసుకొని వచ్చాను. దే థాట్ దట్ ఐ వాజ్ దేర్ లెక్చరర్ ఆర్ ఐ వాజ్ సమ్ జూనియర్ లెక్చరర్. నేను అలా వెళ్ళి టేబుల్‌లో కూర్చున్నాను. నేను అలా వెళ్ళి బెంచ్‌లో కూర్చున్నాను. దట్ ఈస్ వెన్ దే రియలైజ్ దట్ ఐ వాజ్ ఆల్సో స్టూడెంట్. దట్ ఈస్ వెరీ బిగ్ ఎంబారసింగ్ మూమెంట్ ఫర్ మీ. ఆ తర్వాత వదిలేద్దాం, నా వల్ల కాదు అనుకున్నాను. కపుల్ మోర్ థింగ్స్ లైక్ దట్ హ్యాపెండ్ అండ్ అగైన్ ద సేమ్ స్టోరీ. ఐ కుడెంట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ వై ఐ యామ్ డూయింగ్ ఇట్. దెన్ ఐ థాట్ dropping it out is the best alternative. And again, at that point of time, I figured out that degree is not valuable, to be very honest. My skill set are much more valuable than degree because సరే నేను 4 ఇయర్స్ ఫినిష్ చేస్తాను. నేను కాలేజ్ అయిపోతది. కాలేజ్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మా కాలేజ్‌లో టీసీఎస్, కాగ్నిజెంట్ ఇవి వస్తున్నాయి. నేను థర్డ్ ఇయర్‌లో ఉండేటప్పుడు ఫోర్త్ ఇయర్ స్టూడెంట్స్‌కొచ్చిన హైయెస్ట్ ప్యాకేజ్ వాస్ 8 ఎల్‌పీఏ. ఒకే ఒక్కడికొచ్చింది. అది కాకుండా నాకు తెలిసిన వాళ్ళందరూ దే ఆర్ సైనింగ్ అప్ ఫర్ టీసీఎస్ ఆర్ దే ఆర్ సైనింగ్ అప్ ఫర్ సమ్ అదర్ రాండమ్ కంపెనీస్ దట్ ఆర్ ఇన్ చెన్నై హియర్ అండ్ దేర్ ఫర్ 3 లాక్, 3.5 లాక్. అరే! ఇంత చేసి 3,00,000కి, 3.5 లక్షలకి నువ్వు ఇంత స్ట్రగల్ అవ్వాలా అన్నది వన్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ మైండ్. సెకండ్ థింగ్ ఇస్ I was able to do 18 lakh in revenue, just in revenue in one of my startups. అలాంటప్పుడు why do I have to struggle so much and get a degree which will only get me a 4 lakh or 5 lakh job? Not more than that, simple as that. అది కాకుండా there is another job that I got into, another startup that I got into, 25,000 per month. They never asked me about my certificates. They said that you have skills to sell. You sell it, we'll give you salary, simple as that. So that is when I understood that degree is not everything. Your skill set is everything. And that is what I focused more on and I dropped out. And till date, there are only one or two incidents where, because not having a degree hampered me, there are only one or two instances like that and nothing more than that. Simple as that.
what are these instances?
Okay. Sorry. So these instances are, one of them is I was invited to an event to be a speaker. I like speaking with college students. I like sharing my experiences. I like teaching stuff more than anything. I like teaching stuff. And when it is college students, right, I relate a lot with them because I've been through that journey. So I relate a lot with them. So there is one particular event where I was sent an invite. And then later on, my invite was cancelled. I was invited to go there as a speaker or for a panel. And then later on, they told sorry and they're like, sorry sir, we can't invite you. Why? Because there are other speakers who are coming from Paytm or big companies, Microsoft, Bing, Yahoo. Speakers are coming from their company. So when we put it on poster, we had bigger brands for them. We had
Okay.
bigger brands on their profile. For you, it's not a big brand, so we just couldn't fit you over there. Our speaker lineup is not looking good, so we had to drop you out. That is one. And the other one is I wanted to get admission into something. For that, I should have a basic degree. I didn't had a degree at that point of time. So these are the only two instances that have hampered things for me, but nothing more than that.
So have you considered taking a fake degree or paid up hybrid courses, any of those?
Okay. So I'm very much against fake degrees. To be honest, I'm very much against fake degrees because there's a lot of it's a lot of messed up shit. నువ్వు ఒక యూనివర్సిటీ నుంచి ఒక ఫేక్ డిగ్రీ తీసుకుంటావు. నువ్వు కాలేజీకి వెళ్ళవు, సిగ్నేచర్స్ పెట్టావు, ఏం చెయ్యవు. ఒక యూనివర్సిటీ నుంచి ఫేక్ డిగ్రీస్ తీసుకుంటావు. ఆ యూనివర్సిటీ రేపు పొద్దున్న ఉంటుందో ఉండదో తెలియదు. నువ్వు ఒక జాబ్కి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత వెన్ దే డూ దిస్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ చెక్ అండ్ వెన్ దే అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్ యువర్ డిగ్రీ ఈస్ ఫేక్, ఇట్ విల్ లీవ్ అ వెరీ బిగ్ రిమార్క్ ఆన్ యువర్ resume, or it will leave not on resume but on your profile as such. So I never considered taking, I had thoughts of doing it just for having a degree, but later on I did open schooling. So all I need is I just need a basic degree. So why don't I do open schooling, do those 2 year, put those 2 years in open schooling, and I can have a degree. So anyone that can ask me, I can slap this degree across on their face. Luckily, fortunately, till now no one asked, everyone asked me what did you work on, no one asked me where did you study. Simple as that.
Got it. So what was the next step? So you were in your third year and you were making 25,000 at the startup and you realized degree is worthless and you quit your college. You take a dropout. And I'm sure that has a lot of personality change, identity change at your home, and there might be arguments and fights. How did you cope up with that?
Okay. In my family, my uncle, my babai, is a very big driving force for us. All right. My grandparents, my dad did his MBA and all of those things are there. but he didn't utilize again, he didn't utilize his degrees to the best job that he can go into, but he got into journalism because he is very good into writing and speaking and understand taking the context of it. My uncle, he wanted to do automobile engineering, but my grandfather didn't allow him to go and do it. So he is very big on education and he is very big on getting a degree. So he was the one who forced me a lot to get into engineering. This EC, CSC concept ఏదైతే ఉందో, he only brought that up into my mind. నేను డ్రాప్ అవుట్ అయిన తర్వాత మై పేరెంట్స్ డింట్ న్యూ, మై ఫ్యామిలీ డింట్ న్యూ. ఐ లివ్ ఇన్ అ జాయింట్ ఫ్యామిలీ, 3 floors, all 3 floors are filled up with 25 people in my family. రోజు మార్నింగ్ 8:30కి నేను కాలేజ్ డ్రెస్ వేసుకొని బ్యాగ్లో టీ షర్ట్ పట్టుకొని ఇంటి నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చేవాడిని. బయటకు వచ్చి ఐ రెంటెడ్ అ స్మాల్ స్పేస్ యాజ్ మై ఆఫీస్. మై పేరెంట్స్ డింట్ న్యూ దట్ ఐ హ్యాడ్ అ 2 BHK. At that point of time 2 BHK was just 4,000 rupees in Vizag. I rented out that space as my office. నీట్గా ఇంటి నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చేవాడిని, టీ షర్ట్ కాలేజ్ షర్ట్ తీసేసి టీ షర్ట్ వేసుకొని యూస్ టు గో టు మై ఆఫీస్. ఆ టైంలో నాకు ఒక ఇద్దరు స్టాఫ్ కూడా ఉండేవారు టు టేక్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ స్మాలర్ థింగ్స్. ఇది నేను తరంగ్ బుక్ స్టార్ట్అప్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు. And I used to go there, spend my time, and alongside that I used to work for ISEC, this youth run organization. I used to spend time over there, go back home in the evening, and pretend that I went to college and I had a lot of work to do. To be honest, I had a lot of work to do, but my family never realized that I was working as a freelancer or I'm running my own startup. They just are in a feeling that I'm going to college and I'm doing stuff.
Okay.
One fine day, this is maybe 1 year down the
How
line,
long did this happen?
this went across for more than a year.
Wow.
This went across for more than a year, and no one had a doubt. Even if they had a doubt, I used to cover it up very nicely. That's one big mistake that I made. I should have been very much upfront and told them that I dropped out or I got detained. ఒక 1 year అయిన తర్వాత మా కాలేజ్ నుంచి ఫోన్ వచ్చింది. టు హూమ్? టు మై అంకుల్. బికాస్ నా కాలేజ్లోని మా పేరెంట్స్ ఫోన్ నెంబర్ నా ఫోన్ నెంబర్ కింద మార్చేశాను. Somehow they got hold of my uncle's number because that number was present in the admission form when I joined. So my college dig deep into that. Final year మీ వాడు డిటైన్ అయిపోయాడు అండ్ మీ వాడు కాలేజ్కి రావట్లేదు, ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ అవి ఉన్నాయి, అవన్నీ క్లియర్ చేయాలి అని. సో మై అంకుల్ పుట్ మీ ఇన్ ద కార్, ఈ టుక్ మీ టు కాలేజ్. అక్కడ కూడా నేను మేనేజ్ చేస్తాను. మై హెచ్ఓడి, ఐ గేవ్ మై ఫ్రెండ్స్ కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్ యాజ్ మై హెచ్ఓడిస్ కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్, అండ్ దిస్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఆఫ్ మైన్, he spoke with my uncle as a HOD while my uncle is sitting in HOD's cabin.
Okay.
And this HOD is not in the college at that point of time.
Okay.
So my friend acted as my HOD and is like, నేను కాలేజ్లో లేనండి బాబు, కాలేజీకి రావట్లేదండి, అయినా సరే పర్లేదు ఏదో అడ్జస్ట్ చేద్దాం, ఏదో అడ్జస్ట్ చేస్తాం, మీ వాడిని రేపటి నుంచి కాలేజ్కి వచ్చేమన్న టైంకి వీ కవర్డ్ ఇట్ అప్. కొంత అలా కవర్ చేసాం. My uncle went back to parking lot. I stayed in that main building and I was like, cool, ఈ గండం గట్టెక్కిపోయింది, నెక్స్ట్ ఏదైతే వస్తుందో అది మేనేజ్ చేద్దాం. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ ఇస్ ఐ మేడ్ అ మిస్టేక్. ఐ టోల్డ్ అ లై. ఆ లైని కవర్ చేయడానికి ఐ టోల్డ్ అన్ అనదర్ లై అండ్ ఇట్ బికెమ్ వెరీ హ్యూజ్ అట్ దట్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్. సో మై అంకుల్ వెంట్ బ్యాక్ టు ద పార్కింగ్ లాట్. ఎందుకో డౌట్ వచ్చింది. హీ వాక్డ్ బ్యాక్ అగైన్, హీ వెంట్ టు ఈసీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ విచ్ ఇస్ మై డిపార్ట్మెంట్. ఈసీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ అసిస్టెంట్ హెచ్ఓడి ఎవరైతే ఉన్నాడో, దిస్ పర్సన్ టోల్డ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ టు మై అంకుల్. Then my uncle called me up. I went to speak with him in the college itself. He put me in the car. అక్కడి నుంచి my home is from Raghu Engineering College. My home is like 20-25 kilometers away. కార్ మొత్తం సైలెంట్. ఇంటికి వచ్చాం. ఇంటికి వచ్చిన తర్వాత he lives in the ground floor, we lives in the first floor. He called up my mom came down. Then my mom called me, I came down. ఒక వుడెన్ చైర్ తీసుకొని ఇక్కడి నుంచి అక్కడికి నా మీద ఇసిరాడు. ఇసిరిన తర్వాత బ్లడ్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఫ్లోయింగ్ డౌన్ ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ అండ్ దెన్ హీ కేమ్ అండ్ హిట్ మీ ట్వైస్ అండ్ థ్రైస్. అది కోపం కాదు, ఇట్స్ బాధ. అంటే అరే పిల్లడు ఇంజనీరింగ్ వచ్చేసాడే, ఇంజనీరింగ్ డిగ్రీ అయిపోతే ఏదో జాబ్లో సెటిల్ అవుతాడు, రిలేటివ్స్కి ఫ్యామిలీకి సొసైటీలో ఒక మంచి పేరు వస్తుంది, ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దట్. బట్ వీడు అవేం చేయకుండా మోసం చేశాడు మనల్ని అని చెప్పేసి. సో ఆ బ్లడ్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత దెన్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ స్టాప్డ్ హిమ్ అండ్ ఎవెన్చువలీ ఐ క్లీన్ మై ఫేస్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ అండ్ ఐ వెంట్ అక్రాస్ అండ్ ఐ టోల్డ్ హిమ్ ఇలా అయింది, దిస్ ఇస్ వై ఐ డ్రాప్డ్ అవుట్. అండ్ మీకు చెప్పలేదు, ఇట్స్ అ మిస్టేక్, బట్ ఐ రియలైజ్డ్ దట్ యూ విల్ నెవర్ అండర్స్టాండ్. Whatever I wanted to do, you'll never understand. So that is why I didn't tell it to you. It's not individuality or nothing. It's just that this is something that I wanted to do. Just because you'll not understand it, I just hid it. ఇది ఎప్పుడైతే పెద్దదవుతుందో, whenever I'll become successful, because at that point of time I was doing my startup which went across to 18 lakh in revenue. So 18 lakh in revenue, being a college student, is very big. My college is celebrating me like anything. My college faculty is celebrating me like anything. for each and every meeting that they go, మా కాలేజ్ నుంచి ఒక స్టార్ట్అప్ ఉందండి. మైన్ ఇస్ ద ఓన్లీ స్టార్ట్అప్ ఇన్ అవర్ కాలేజ్. మా కాలేజ్‌లో ఒక స్టార్ట్అప్ ఉంది, తరంగ్ బుక్స్ అని చెప్పేసి. దట్ గై ఈస్ డూయింగ్ బ్రిలియంట్ ఇన్ రెవెన్యూ. కాలేజ్‌కి రాడు గానీ హి ఈస్ డూయింగ్ బ్రిలియంట్ ఇన్ రెవెన్యూ. లిటరల్లీ మై ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఆర్ సెలబ్రేటింగ్ మీ. మై కాలేజ్ ఈస్ సెలబ్రేటింగ్ మీ. బట్ మై ఫ్యామిలీ కుడెంట్ అండర్‌స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఐమ్ డూయింగ్.
So winning and losing at the same.
Yeah, I'm winning. It's like I'm running on a double-edged sword. Simple as that. Then when I tried making them understand that this is what it is, and I told them that I worked at a startup for 4 months for money. They paid me 25,000 per month. ఈ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో నాకు కాలేజ్ డిగ్రీ లేకపోయినా నాకు ఒక ఉద్యోగం వస్తది. ఎందుకు? ద ఎంటైర్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఆఫ్ గోయింగ్ టు కాలేజ్ ఇస్ టు గెట్ ఎ డిగ్రీ సో దట్ ఐ కెన్ గెట్ ఇంటు అ జాబ్. బట్ వాట్ ఇఫ్ ఐ కెన్ జంప్ టు దట్ ఎండ్ గోల్ విచ్ ఇస్ గెటింగ్ అ జాబ్? దెన్ మై అంకుల్ ఛాలెంజ్డ్ మీ. సరే ఒక జాబ్ కొట్టి చూపించి నీకు ఎవడో జాబ్ ఇస్తాడో నేను చూస్తానండి. 1 వీక్ డౌన్ ద లేన్ I started working with this company called Workroute. This is when I was in my final year of my college. I started working with this company called Workroute. How I cracked it up? I texted that founder on LinkedIn. There were a few mutual connections. People who were 4 years, 5 years elder to me who were helping me in my startup. One of them is working as an advisor at this company called Workroute. Then the founder got in touch with me. We had a conversation. They liked my skills. They also never asked me what degree you have or what are you studying, etc. They just figured out that I have the skills which are useful for them. I got a job. My starting salary was 37,500 per month. I got the offer letter. Within a week, I showed it to my uncle, and my uncle said, ఇదేంటిది ఇలాంటి ఫేక్ ఆఫర్ లెటర్స్ నేను కూడా తీసుకొని వస్తాను అని చెప్పేసి. దెన్ ఐ షోడ్ హిమ్ ద ఈమెయిల్. దెన్ హీ వాజ్ లైక్, టీసీఎస్లోనో కాగ్నిజెంట్లోనో పనిచేస్తా అనుకుంటే ఏదో పేరు లేని కంపెనీలో పనిచేస్తున్నా అని చెప్పేసి. సో మై ఫ్యామిలీ, because they never understood the concept of startups, because they needed that validation that మావాడు డెలాయిట్లో పనిచేస్తున్నాడు, మావాడు కాగ్నిజెంట్లో పనిచేస్తున్నాడు, మావాడు టీసీఎస్లో పనిచేస్తున్నాడు, they wanted me to work with bigger brands. But for me, I wanted to work for startups because I want to understand how to do a startup. Simple as that. So when I showed that offer letter, na Mohammed ala cheppina, all of them were very much happy because at that point of time, they got their validation check, which is సొసైటీలో ఉన్న మిగతా వాళ్ళందరూ కాలేజ్ అయిపోయినా సరే జాబుల్లో జాయిన్ అవ్వకపోయినా, మావాడు కాలేజ్ అవ్వకముందే జాబ్‌లో జాయిన్ అయ్యాడు. అది కూడా డిగ్రీ లేకుండా. సో ఆర్ కిడ్ ఈస్ డూయింగ్ సంథింగ్ గుడ్. సో విల్ లీవ్ హిమ్ ఓవర్ దేర్. ఏదో జాబ్ చేసుకుంటాడు. 37,500 ఇస్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఎ వెరీ గుడ్ సాలరీ అట్ దట్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్. ఎందుకంటే హెచ్ఎస్బీసీ అండ్ అదర్ బీపీఓస్‌లోనే people in Vizag are getting paid 15 or 20 or 25,000 as starting salary for freshers. At that point of time, 37,500 per month seemed like a very good amount to me, at least at that point of time. So they were all calm and they were all happy at that point of time, but they literally showed that disappointment or embarrassment just because they want me to push a little hard so that I'll go do something more than this, something better than that, better than that.
Wonderful, man. So how long did you work at this startup, and when was the actual you becoming a founder? When did that line of thought start?
Okay, so this starting my own startup has always been there. The only thing is, I joined this startup called Workroute only because the very first conversation, I liked that founder very much. His name is Manikant Chella, and I like this person very much. So there is always this particular thing that I follow. If you want to do something, stay with someone who has done that thing a couple of years ago. Simple as that. So that is why all the kind of groups that I roam around with, or the kind of community that I'm a part of, or the friends group that I have, a couple of friends groups that I have, all of them are like 4 year or 5 years elder to me. ఎందుకంటే people who are 4 or 5 years elder to me, whatever I'm doing right now, they've already done that. They've been there, done that. So the mistakes, whatever they have done, or the achievements, whatever they have got, I was literally able to do a playbook, and I used to repeat that playbook, and I was very much cautious in my journey. So that particular moment hit me very hard, and I was very much fortunate enough that I had good set of advisors for me who are doing their startups in Vizag, or people who are doing their own share of things or own share of businesses, etc. in Vizag, and they were helping me literally. So idanta ainappudu I figured out that I want to do a startup, but I want to do something big or something in a bigger scale. For that, I have to learn. If I get into a job, I have to choose that kind of job where I can replace that entire business model in couple of years. So that is when I joined Workroute, stayed there for good 3 years. Right before I left, they raised a half a million USD. Right before I left, they raised a half a million USD in funding. Whatever money I had, whatever salary, ESOPs, etc., whatever I had, I took all of that and I took a quit. I came back to Vizag and I started working on. I took a break and because I wanted to start something of my own. So that is when all of it has started.
All right. So is this the same? So now you're packed with money,
Hmm.
packed with experience, and now you work with the founder. So you understand the dynamic of a startup. you're way, way, way ahead of where your roots are and what the mindset is and what other people function and as a society and everything. So where does the I mean, what did you do in the break? You have a lot of money. Do you take a, like a vacation? Did you buy yourself something, or you saved it to invest into something that was coming ahead?
Okay, so this money, whatever I had, so there is this one particular line that my founder always said, who's Manikan Challa. What he said is, నీ దగ్గర ఉన్న డబ్బులు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, that is not enough to set up a startup or do a business. నువ్వు ఒక 6 months చేస్తావు or 1 year చేస్తావు, ఈ డబ్బులు అయిపోతాయి. Again, you'll have to get into another job to get more money to reinvest into your startup. I didn't give a lot of hearing to what he said because I was very, I'd not say arrogant, but I was very much adamant on I should start something of my own right now. I was 22, 23 years old at that point of time, and I was very adamant saying that ఇప్పుడు కాకపోతే ఇంకెప్పుడు అదొక డైలాగ్ ఉంటుంది, ఇప్పుడు
Yes.
కాకపోతే ఇంకెప్పుడు అనుకున్నట్టు. So I was very adamant on starting my own thing. అది అయినప్పుడు I took all that whatever money I've saved, I came back to Vizag, and I was very much cautious on each and every penny that I'm spending. So I didn't buy anything for myself. Only I was only exploring multiple business models. I was only exploring multiple ideas, speaking with a lot of people to see what is working, what will not work, etc., etc. By the way, this is right after COVID. This is right after, I guess, second wave of COVID. That is when I came back to my home and started doing stuff. ఈ మధ్యలోని during COVID, because ఈ మధ్యలో during COVID, because I just can't sit idle, I can't stay idle. What I did is I made sure that I earn a little more money to get my startup running. When I say little more money, what exactly happened is COVID loni everyone are very much cautious of sanitizing machines, sanitizing their hands, etc. So a point of time loni, me with my brother and with my uncle and another engineer friend of mine, we started manufacturing automatic sanitizer machines. నార్మల్‌గా ఆ టైంలో మనకి పెడల్ శానిటైజర్ మెషిన్స్ ఉండేవి.
Yes.
సో, వేర్ యూ హావ్ టు గో పంప్ ఇట్ 3, 4 టైమ్స్, పెడల్ ఇట్ 3, 4 టైమ్స్ అండ్ దెన్ అప్పుడు శానిటైజర్ వచ్చేది అండ్ దెన్ యూ హావ్ టు క్లీన్ ఇట్ అప్ ఎక్స్‌ట్రాస్. సో, ఇఫ్ యూ పుట్ దట్ ఔట్‌సైడ్ యువర్ ఆఫీస్, నీ ఆఫీస్‌కి ఒక 100 మెంబర్స్ వస్తున్నారంటే వాళ్ళకి చెక్ ఇన్ టైమ్ 9:00 ఆర్ 8:30 ఉంటుంది. ఆ టైంకి అక్కడ అందరూ లైన్ కట్టాల్సి ఉండేది. సో, వాట్ ఐ డిడ్ ఇస్ వి స్టార్టెడ్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ దిస్ ఆటోమేటిక్ we started manufacturing this automatic sanitary dispensing.
Basically, sensor-based dispensing. Yeah.
So we started manufacturing automatic sanitizer dispensing machine based on a sensor. So all they have to do is they have to come, put their hand over there, sanitizer will spray it, they just have to rub their hands and leave from there. So we were able to cut down the amount of time a person spends at a sanitizer dispensing machine over there. And we were able to earn a little more, money over there. And all of that, we didn't register any business. There is another friend of mine who has a business. We ran everything on his GST. We were able to, as a group, we were able to do 23, 24 lakh in revenue at that point of time, just by building these and selling that in short span. So that thing has always been there, that I should do something, or I should. It's not very much about money, but it is about I should do something that will give me a little sense of satisfaction, or I know a problem and I should solve it up across.
And okay, so I see that you have tapped into a lot of conventional businesses and plainly making money. You're a businessman at core. And so when does this turn into the HR tech startup that you refer to? Is the name right?
Yeah, so it's called Call Insights when
Call
we
Insights.
started out.
Okay.
So I don't believe myself as a businessman. All right, I am more of a problem solver. That is just because I just couldn't stay idle. I just want to do something or the other thing. So and then there is constant learning that I always do. So let's say, for example, AI has been the trend, and AI agents has been the trend. So if I have to build an AI agent, I have to start learning across to it. So what I used to do is I used to put myself in the shoes of a developer who's building it, and then I understand the intricacies, ifs and buts of it, and that is how I used to learn it, by living that skill and not by learning that skill. At that point of time, the salespeople that we had within the organization, they're speaking with prospects. Now, one thing is we couldn't understand or we couldn't figure out what are they speaking with these customers, because let's say we had 20-member sales team, they speak with aram se they'll do 60, 70 calls per day. We can't go through each and every voice recording. So that is when we had an idea, what if we build an engine that will actually analyze all the voice calls, give the transcript to us, and also give us analysis and figure out what went wrong and what went right in that particular call, and can also rate the salesperson based on their communication, whether they said everything properly or not, or whether did they overpromise or underpromise, something of that sort. So we were able to build an internal engine. Right after we built it, we were like, that was eureka moment, or that was aha moment for us. Because that is something that is existing in the market. There are companies like Gong and couple more startups who are doing this, but the initial subscription of Gong itself is almost $499 per month. But what we had is a makeshift solution of it, to for which we can easily charge $49 per user per month. Simple as that. So we built this engine, or we built this tool that will analyze your customer calls and give insights on top of it. And then we immediately started speaking with other companies who are in edtech, because we were also running an edtech product. And we showed demo to them and everything, and they're like, it's very good, etc., etc. Good. But there are a couple of intricacies in the sales domain. Okay. So we thought, what if we are not focusing on the right domain? We have a solution. We know a problem. That is, understanding customer calls is actually becoming a problem. What if we can figure out a good domain that will actually make us good revenue, or the where it is actually needed? So that is when we figured out staffing and recruitment as an industry is, I'd not say broken. It is a little fragmented, and everyone are using age old approaches into it. Simple as that. uh, to give an
Can you run me down like was the conventional industry tactics then, and what is exactly is fragmented, and then
Okay, so fragmented is, to give a straight up example, there is a staffing company. What does staffing company do? Let's say you run a staffing company and I have my own company. I have to hire 30 people right now, and I only have two HRs or two recruiters. For these two recruiters to hire 30 people might take them 6 months or 7 months. So I sign up with you because you have recruiters and everyone under you, and you have a huge list of, or huge pool of candidates under, within your list, and your recruiters can actually do hiring for me and can hire my people, and I'll pay you 7% or 8% of this candidate CTC to you. This is how staffing company works.
okay,
Now, how does staffing companies work on this? You as a recruiter, you got a job description. Now you'll put that job description on Naukri. You'll pull down 40 or 50 candidates, highly relevant candidates, or you use any ATS, or if you have your own ATS, you'll do it. You'll upload the job description. You'll bring 40 or 50 highly relevant candidates. You'll call each and every candidate, and you'll tell them that this is the job description and this is your skill set. We believe that you're a high match. Are you looking for a job? If yes, we'll arrange an interview for you. And this recruiter will arrange an interview with the hiring company manager, and the interview circle goes on, and this recruiter has to make sure that he follows all the protocols, he follows all the communication, make sure that the client is updated, make sure that this candidate is updated, etc.
got
A couple of problems over here. Let's say I'm a manager in a staffing company. I have 30 employees under me who are recruiters or who are BDS. Simple as that. Now all these recruiters, I can't understand. Okay, me as a manager, how would I understand whether my candidate is performing well or not? If and only if he do a closure. What is a closure here? If and only if this person can actually bring a candidate and get him hired for this particular position, because that is how me as a staffing company will get revenue. Simple as that.
yes,
Now, if a manager has 30 members under him, how can he figure out whether which person is working good or not?
okay,
Based on number of hirings, that is okay. The end goal for them might be a hire.
performance and
Yeah,
yeah,
that is a hire, which is a performance indicator, but there might be a lot of people who are actually putting in results, very good results, but they were just unable to do hires. They were unable to get hires done, number of hires done, because of external factors, which is the client had very stringent requirements, or maybe the candidate is just offer shopping. A lot of things might go wrong like that.
okay,
And me as a manager, again, can't understand whether my candidate, or me as a manager, I can't understand whether my employee does have good understanding skills or not, does he have good negotiation skills or not, etc. All of these things are there. So that is where we have introduced our product over there, where you need not go through regular ATS systems or anything. We have built an agentic ATS which is called Call Insights. It is ideally Call Insights.
okay,
Just because we don't have a domain, we couldn't get the domain, we changed I into E. So we
okay,
made it Call Insights, which is the customer calls that you do, there is a lot of revenue sitting in it. So we'll analyze the calls for you and we'll give you insights on top of those calls. You take a decision based on that particular insights. Simple as that. And we have an agentic ATS built out where you just have to, a recruiter just had to add a job description into it, and our ATS is connected with a lot of job boards, a lot of job boards, or a lot of websites where resumes are available. It will pull highly relevant resumes from all over there, including LinkedIn, including Naukri, and all the other places if you have paid accounts over there, and it will give you highly relevant candidates. All these candidates are placed in high relevancy to low relevancy order, and we have implemented voice AI agents where your recruiter need not call them. our voice AI agents will call the candidates, will speak with them. Based on that conversation, whichever candidate is coming out good, will only list out those profiles, and our AI agent will give those profiles to the recruiter. Now, the recruiter, what he has to do, he has to give a second level call to these candidates, tell them that this is salary, etc., etc., just as a reconfirmation. If they are okay, arrange a interview with the, if he is okay, arrange an interview with the hiring manager. Simple as that.
Okay.
So we were able to automate a lot of things, right? Starting from the first call that they do through voice AI agents, speaking with the candidates and sorting them with high relevancy to low relevancy within our agentic ATS system, and then doing emails, sending reminders, etc., into all of that. Thus, we are cutting down the lot of time for recruiters taken, so that they can concentrate on good things. They can concentrate on things that will actually get them revenue, because we believed that customer calls or voice calls is where a lot of revenue is put in, and not a lot of them are mining into it.
Okay.
So that is so that is how call so that is how we have built call insights, and very early we have got validation for it, because staffing and recruitment industry, as it is fragmented, as I said, we they don't use a lot of tools. Even in the age of AI, they don't use a lot of tools. They just stick with age old systems. I don't want to mention what systems or what platforms they are, but they stick with age old systems, because that is what brought them revenue, and that is what made them feel good, or that is what is bringing them
They
results. So they
can't
just,
change their fundamental model.
yes. And a lot of them, they are not open to learning. Staffing as an industry, they are not open to learning. I'm not speaking about the higher level management, but the mid level management or the lower level management. They know that this is working, and they just want to repeat that playbook, and they don't want to bring any innovations into it. But we were able to go and sit between their stack. We were telling that we are not changing your system. We have built something on top of your existing playbook. You try using it. It'll make you things easy. So from there, we slowly understood what else they'd need, and we just stuck to staffing and recruitment as an industry. And we started building features on top of it, whatever they need, whatever the industry needs. We did a lot of prioritization on features, etc., etc. And we started building features, and we figured out that yes, this is the right set of features that these companies need or these teams need. So we'll build it, we'll give it to them, we'll deliver it, and we'll make money on top of it. That is how our entire formula has been, because just because we were customer first and validation first, we were able to do all of that. Simple as that.
Yeah, the concept is clear to me as a crystal. I'm more curious on the operation and how you ran it. As an aspiring founder myself, I've been running my own startup for 1 year, and I have all sorts of problems with the funding, tools, APIs, people at core, to be honest. It's a technology company. So, my questions are, how long did it take to build the startup? What was your method of hiring people for it? And have you fired? And what were the inflection points? And how did you seek funding? If you did not, why you didn't seek funding?
Okay. So just before this, while we built Call Insights, which is Incision.ai right now, after it got acquired, I'll leave that to the next question. Uh, okay, so just before we did Call Insights was actually an internal idea for the tech startup that we were working in. It is my friend's startup again.
Okay.
Joined in as a co-founder, but later on I didn't take equity because of various reasons. But I was handling their product as a head of product. So at this edtech startup, with an internal idea came with an internal problem came a solution which is called Call Insights. So we figured out that at that point of time, edtech is dying. We know that we'll either get acquired or we'll either die for the edtech startup. So we kept edtech as sidelines because revenues have been plummeting. They went low. We were unable to pay salaries to everyone at edtech, and we fired a lot of people within the sales team because they were not working across, and we did a lot of jugadu around all of that system. But for Call Insights particularly, we were very much clear till since starting from day one, because we already made all of these mistakes. Now we know what wrong can we do. Simple as that. Our entire concept is, you see a mountain there, నువ్వు ఆ కొండను కదిలించాలి. నీ దగ్గర ఏముంది? నీ దగ్గర ఒక సన్నమైన దారం ఉంది. ఆ దారాన్ని ఇసురు. వస్తే కొండ పోతే దారం. Simple as that. That was our entire concept. We want to hit the big bells with small sticks. Simple as that. If it rings, it rings. Something good will come out of it. If it doesn't rings, what will we lose? Just the stick. That's it. Nothing more than that. So our primary instinct is, we have some amount of money. Me and my other founder, we have some amount of money. We have a MVP product built. Now let us push this into the market. Let's get early validation. Now we also got early validation, and then we built the big product by hiring 3 to 4 more developers. Alongside that, we had a couple more developers who are already working with us, and we built the big product. The good thing is we had the distribution. We had the market already figured out, and we did a little content And we did a little distribution activities and marketing activities even before we released the product. So we had five to six early customers who were ready to sign up with us right after we launched our product. So that got us the initial couple of bucks. So we had the revenue rolling in a SaaS model, which is a few dollars per month per user per seat. We had our pricing figured out. At that point of time, we only hired go-getters. You can figure out a go-getter not by seeing them, but by working with them. So once
So what's a go-getter?
go-getter is nothing more. Okay, so for me, go-getter is a person, someone who works like me, who is an individual contributor at times and who's also a team player at times whenever it is required. You put a lot of hats.
Wonderful.
All right. So again, the first startup that I worked in, if that person hired me, it is strongly because he could see himself in me, or he believed that I can work like him. Simple as that. So me as a founder, I started hiring people who have traits like a founder. Again, it is a good and it is bad at the same time, but I was able to bring in people like that. So everyone were given certain aspect to achieve, and we were able to delegate the work well, and we were able to very clear with respect to our prioritization, our metrics, what do we want to achieve in these 3 or 4 months, we want to achieve this and achieve that. So we had our things cleared. So we wanted to stay bootstrapped first, but at that but the field where we are operating, they are very big players. So we don't know when we'll die, or we don't know what if OpenAI releases the same features that we have. Simple as that. We will die within a night. Simple as that. So we just have to constantly innovate, constantly do research. We have to create small learning models, because at that point of time, everyone are training models based on keywords, but we wanted to train a model based on context. Simple as that. So for doing all of that, we'll need a little more money. We need funding. Initially, even we were bootstrapped, we started doing funding. With a failed experience at an edtech startup, for us, we did all the right things over here. We reached out to it. By that point of time, me and my co-founder, we were what, 22, 23 years old or 24 years old at that point of time when we started our journeys. But we had good network in Hyderabad and Bangalore. So we spoke with other founders. We told them that this is our idea, and the early founders were to whom we gave the product. All of them liked the idea, and they liked us as a person. So they wrote a couple of angel checks. For example, the current company that I'm associated with, Evolutes Corp or Evolutes IT Services, the founder Srinivas Arsada is also one of our early set of mentors who actually believed in us. And with all these good peeps, we raised a couple of money as angel round. And right after that, we wanted to do our pre-seed round, but we couldn't do it properly. We were getting in touch with all VCs, all the PE firms and VC firms, but we couldn't do the pre-seed round. But by then we got ourselves. By
So what
then
was
we
the
got
reason of rejection for funding?
rejection for funding. It comes in multiple. It came across multiple things. First thing is, I'm not a technical co-founder, and even my co-founder is not a technical person.
Okay.
That guy used to take care of GTM and sales. I used to handle product and tech. At at my personal level, I can't write code as a CTO, but I can understand and I can handle tech teams. So that
Okay.
one
So that is a
advantage
red
was,
flag. Okay.
yeah, that was one big red flag at that point of time. So this is even before vibe coding came in. To be honest, this is even before vibe coding came in.
This is 2023.
Yes, this 2023.
Okay.
Mid of 2022, somewhere between 22 and 23. So that was one. And second thing is, the scale that we are operating in and the revenue that we are operating in and the amount of money that we are seeking in as a funding, it didn't match. It didn't match because we wanted to do research on and create our own models, for which we need more people to come in, specialists and experts to come in. But because we didn't have that expertise in the founding team, that was another red flag. And a couple of VC firms, they gave us a lot of reasons. For example, one VC firm told us that if you have this feature, or if you're concentrating on this market, you approach us. Then that was one reason. And the other reason is, you're on ARR of, let's say, 24 lakh ARR INR. One VC firm, they said that you're currently on 24 lakh revenue per annum. Reach 40 lakh revenue per annum, that is when we'll speak in INR.
Okay.
And after we reached there, we went across to them and they're like, no, we have other concentrations at this point of time. So with the VC and PE firms, we just couldn't ring the right bells at the right time, or we couldn't knock the right doors at the right time. By the time we started, it is very early for the market to understand. By the time we started raising funds, it is already too late for us to get big checks.
Okay.
So that is what has
Why
happened.
was that?
Okay.
Why was it
So
too late to raise funds?
yeah. So at that point of time, what happened? Gong and all these bigger companies are the ones that are running in the market. Now, this Gong is US based market. Someone in India sitting across and doing the same thing, or trying to repeat the same thing for one particular niche, people couldn't believe it at the very first instance.
Okay.
Second thing is, because we were running an edtech firm, and over here we are only catering to 5 or 6 companies and are getting decent revenue. We were a 5 member startup. We were a 5 member startup and we are doing 60 lakh in revenue per month.
Okay.
At peak. 60 lakh in revenue per month at peak. So that is what, so all of those things are there. So VCs were unable to understand, or maybe we were unable to convince the VC firm saying that we can actually go big. Maybe I believe we failed in making them say yes to take a bet on us. Simple as that. Because VC funding is more of a strategic takedowns and less of a bets, but few funding rounds are more of bets than of a strategic decision. So it's just that we just couldn't ring the right doors at the right time. That is one. And the other thing is, when we started raising, we were already late at that point of time, because YouTube released their model called Whisper at that point of time, and then there is Assembly AI, which is doing transcribing and etc. So we were focusing on our fundamentals, wherein market ready and makeshift solutions are coming across. And there are a lot of startups that are coming across in the same space with similar idea, and all of them are repeat founders. All of them are second time founders or third time founders with IIT or IM tags, or they might have done something good in their previous startups, or might have got good exit, and they have good brand to their name, and they were able to raise very good with the VC firm. And a lot of VCs, what usually happens is, if they are funding a company, or if they are funding a startup in a particular domain, they choose not to fund a similar idea startup in the same domain.
Yes, the
Rather than,
portfolio.
yeah,
Yes.
rather than that, they'll get in touch with this startup. They'll try to learn everything from their startup. And startup founders, just like idiots, we open up all our trade secrets. So VCs take all of that and will share it across to their portfolio funded companies. So this thing was also there. So we couldn't figure out a lot of things at that point of time, because we were again first time founders, and we couldn't do a lot of stuff. So PE and VC firms is something that we couldn't crack up. But we have made a lot of friends across the PE and VC firm. Right now I understand, Aja, this is the mistake that I've made. Maybe at this point of time, if I do another startup and if I make a funding, maybe I'll be able to crack good funding opportunities at this point of time. So time just taught us a lot of memories, and gave a lot of memories, and taught us a lot of lessons at that point of time.
On that note, I have one question. In your second year or third year, or if that's really hard, now, if you could send like a 30-second note, like a 1 minute note to yourself in first year, like just joining college, what would it be?
I'd say, bro, chill. Take some time back, relax. You need not do burnouts, or you need not do endless nights, and you need not have everything figured out, because time teaches everything. Time gave me a lot of hard shifts. It taught me a lot of it taught me a lot of lessons. It gave me a lot of reasons to stay silent, go high, stay subtle, be grounded, etc. So I'd say my younger self that take your time. You need not have everything figured out. It's okay to be in chaos without any confidence or without any clarity, but time teaches you everything. All you have to do is nilchonundu. Just stay strong as a wall, just stay over there, so that time takes you through situations and it will teach you each and everything. You just have to stay strong and stay tall.
Relating that piece of advice with my peers and people I hang out with, people I spend time with in college and everything, I realize most of the people are in like a mental war, I would say, where they confuse hard work, dedication in their prime years with enjoyment and all these things. Most people are like, oh, we did 4 hours of class or 8 hours of class. Now we deserve 6 hours of chill. We went to college for 5 days. Now I'm gonna spend the 2 days going on a picnic, playing cricket, or literally the whole 2 days. It's not like 2 hours or 3 hours of the whole day. They will dedicate. That's how people are thinking. And people are now comparing walking and I don't know, doing assignments with or relationships trauma with going to psychiatrists and therapists and stuff. And the generation has like a way new types of problems. I can't even like have thoughts in the first place, like relationship problems, faculty problems, ego problems, and family problems also. And people escalate that. They just like create a situation where they're trying to in themselves, they're convincing themselves, this is the biggest problem. I need to go sit at the beach and relax. Okay, I need to be doing cigarettes and alcohol and whatever other kind of things they try to get into instead of building their career. And it's just like something I'm seeing, and I don't relate with this things at all. I do startups, I'm doing this podcast and other things I'm into as well, and I find it very charming. All of that is really charming, and the friends part and the going out with these people, such people, and doing these things is what actually turns me off.
Mm.
So, what do you think in that note compared to your generation, the generation now?
See, I'd not say it as a generational difference, but the thing is, I couldn't understand my previous generation, and I don't understand my next generation. Simple as that. It's called generational shift or whatever you call it. It's there, but what it says, tappenti. If this generation is doing this, tappenti, because our grandfather's generation, they worked or they did all of that because they wanted to build a house and they wanted to build a base for their family or for their pd. Simple as that. Our parents generation, they tried newer things because they had a base and again they were building on top of it. Our generation, we need not concentrate on our generation, we need not concentrate on getting a house or getting regular revenue into a house, because all of that my grandfather and my father took care of it. Simple. For me, I have to try new things to build something on top of what I already have, what my grandfather and father made. Simple as that. So this perspective gets changed for each and every generation. నేను ఒకటే చెప్తాను అందరికి, నీ ఫ్యామిలీని మార్చడానికి వచ్చిన పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ నువ్వు కాదు. సింపుల్ as that. నువ్వు అలాగే అనుకో. యూ స్టే హంబుల్, యూ స్టే గ్రౌండెడ్. నువ్వు అలా అనుకుంటేనే నువ్వు ముందుకెళ్ళగలవు. దట్ ఈస్ వన్ ప్రైమరీ థింగ్. సెకండ్ థింగ్ ఇస్ ద మేజర్, వెన్ వర్ యూ బోర్న్?
2004.
2004. Okay. So, okay. So I'm born in 90s, you're born in 2000s. All right. The major difference that I believe from my generation to your generation is, we used to play in the grass, you guys are playing with the grass.
What do you mean with the grass?
What do you call, what is other substitute names of grass?
Ground or paid playground stadiums,
Okay,
something.
I repeat it. We used to play in the grass. You guys are playing with the grass. The weed or marijuana, we call it as grass. So that's what I usually say. That's the major difference between us. For us, grasses, we go and play. For you, grasses, you burn it. Simple as that. And other thing is instant gratification.
Okay.
In the age of Blinkit and Swiggy, you open your phone and you order, you want something, you order it in under 10 minutes. Whatever you want, you get it in 10 minutes. But for us, to watch one episode of Game of Thrones, we waited for a month or we waited for a week. For Panchatantram next episode or for Mahabharata next episode, we used to wait for a week and we used to get ready at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. every day, 10 a.m. every Sunday morning. So we used to wait. But this generation, I don't believe that they believe in waiting. They're like, we want it right now.
No.
All of those
Not
things
even a
are there.
minute.
Sorry?
Not even a minute.
Yeah. So all of these things are there. Now again, there are new things like this. Someone told me situationship. Someone told me benching. I don't know benching. I only know belting. My dad was my personal psychiatrist. Now, as you said, for your generation, if you're feeling, if you believe that something is going wrong, you will go and sit with a psychiatrist. For me, if I used to go and tell my dad that this is my problem, my dad used to be my personal psychiatrist and he used to belt me. All right, that is the treatment that is the treatment that we got. I used to get scared of my dad at times because the first wrong that I did, my dad used to get the belt out, and right after one session of belting, I'm a good kid again. And maybe that is what is lacking between our generation and your generation. That belting that we used to get from our parents, and the benching that you guys are getting right now. And apart from that, yes, I never understood situationship or someone told this to me, breadcrumbing. So all of these newer things, I never understood. I never understood, maybe while growing up or anything as such. But the crux is the instant gratification part of it, or everything that I just need it right now, everything being available for you. It's not your mistake. It is the generational shift that is happening, with which we as a human being should evolve. So what people like me should do is stay silent and shut the fuck up and let you guys enjoy, explore, do more things, because along with the according to the generation and along with the generation, things change, and that is completely okay. Maybe smoking for my generation might be a taboo, but for your generation it's not. And I'm not saying smoking is good or smoking is okay, but what I'm saying is it's good to explore in certain limits. Maybe the freedom that we didn't get, our generation didn't get, maybe you guys might get it. Maybe you guys can actually reach more, you guys can actually go to better heights than us. Simple as that.
Got it. So back to the startup and Callan Insights. Am I pronouncing it right? Callan
Yeah,
Insights.
Cal insights.
What is your core beliefs apart from revenue and success? What are your core beliefs in terms of why you do it? Like, is it to solve a problem, or is it that emotion that drives you of that those problems, those VC meetings, and trying to launch and everything, or is it something else entirely for you?
Right. So with Call Insights, by the way, it's now Incision AI. Right after we got acquired, the name has been changed to Incision AI. So with Call Insight, at one end it's emotion, and at the other end it's a very strategic decision. Because we built it because we were facing issues with our sales team, the voice calls of our sales team, we were unable to figure it out. So we built an engine to dive down into those calls and transcribe it, understand what went right and what went wrong. That For that problem we have built a solution, and that solution is nothing but Call Insight. So that emotional movement is there because this is like our baby, this is our own thing. This is like, that was like eureka moment for us because we faced the solution. Sorry, that was like a eureka moment for us. We faced this problem, we built a solution. Any other founder, any other edtech founder, or any other startup founder who do sales by calls, when we showed it to them, they are like, fuck, this is something that I need, this is something that is missing. Maybe right now I need not go through all those calls, hundreds of minutes. I need not go through all those calls and give ratings. I can get my calls passed by this and do everything with AI. Simple as that. So that emotional touch up is there. But we know that at one point of time we'll again die, or at one point of time we'll get acquired, or maybe we might go big. Simple as that. That has been my entire concept behind starting a startup. That I, by doing job, I might not earn crores in money, but if I do a startup and if it goes all well, maybe if it gets acquired or if we sell it to someone else, I might end up making crores. So in my family line, I can actually be that in my family line, I can actually be that one guy who can entirely push my family to above middle class or make them rich. Simple as that. That has been the entire idea. So with Call Insights, it's again a double Call Insights or Incision. It's again a double-edged sword that we are running. On one side, it's emotional, and on the other side, it's strategy. It's a strategy positioning. But when we entered into that VC calls and someone told us that this is not how it runs, or when someone told us that you guys are doing it wrong, or when someone tells us that you are you are gonna die or you're doing a mistake, we couldn't take it because for us it's a baby, and we eventually learned it across like you shouldn't treat your startup as a baby, but because it is just a business. Maybe tomorrow someone else might take care of it. Maybe you might sell it out across tomorrow. So you need not be that much emotional into business and treat it across as a business. But those 2.5, 3 years in running my startup, amazing time. That's the best time I had in my life. I'll tell you. Uh, I had to sleep by 2 o'clock. If I can't sleep by 2 o'clock, if that wave is finished, I can't sleep anymore. If that 2 o'clock
I
mark,
totally relate. I
uh,
totally relate, by the way.
if the 2 o'clock mark is finished, so my house, so we ran the startup from Hyderabad. My office is in High Tech City and my flat is in Kondapur. High Tech City to Kondapur on my bike, it just takes me 7 minutes at 4 a.m. in the morning. At 2 a.m., if I don't sleep, I used to wear a short, I used to wear a t-shirt, get my bag, go to office at 3 o'clock in the morning, work from 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, starting from there to 10:30, 11 o'clock when all my employees come in. And then I used to sleep for 2, 3 hours. And then afternoon, I used to wake up in the office. I used to brush, get freshen up at a friend's place nearby, or my employee, some of the other teammates used to live nearby. So we used to get it done over there and come back to home, come back to office, and then have food, everything, finish work, and go back home in the night. And again, that night I can sleep peacefully because the previous night I didn't sleep. So that cycle has been disturbing. But I enjoyed that chaos because we used to get these small, small wins. One customer signed up. If one customer signs up, we know that it is $200 in revenue per month for us. Simple as that. We can hire one more person.
Hmm.
One engineer cracked a problem that we are trying to solve for many days. That is some adrenaline rush that gives in. We went into a VC meeting. VC says that, boss, we like your pitch deck. Let's sit across for a next meeting. That's something amazing. While we are raising our angel round, someone told an angel, when we are raising our angel round, some random ass person on internet texts us saying that I heard about your startup, I want to invest it in, can you give us a brief? When new people are discovering our idea, discovering our startup, that used to give us adrenaline rush. Apart from that, when I used to get called to events or anywhere as a speaker where we have a chance to explain about our startup, because that is our GTM strategy, where we know, you know, that there's a HR tech conference that is happening. You go there as a speaker and you promote about your startup which is into HR tech, which HRs or recruiters or staffing companies use. That's my GTM. So all these smaller wins and small movements that used to give adrenaline rush, and that what pumped us, and that what made sure that we are running across.
Wonderful. And you said one thing, it didn't quite strike to me because, of course, I'm very amateur in this field. you did not spend see you have your entire tech organization, and Calendar Insights was a small idea in that you're building a solution to a problem you're facing yourself. And as you said, you were not devoting, not most of it, I would say, time. So I would like to know two things here. One, the amount of financial, because I realize the financial performance is a is a performance indicator very. The more money you're making, the more validation you're getting, the more happy you are, more productivity, and one more engineer coming to the team. And as such, this is just positive flux, right? So I want to know how much in ratios, if not the exact amount, Cal Insights was making, and the as a organization was whole was making, or some project that the organization was making. And how did you balance your time here and there? Like, how did you prioritize your prioritize and optimize on what project to spend time, or on what task, like research, or into tech, or building teams, or firing a person and hiring someone else, like on productivity? So I want to know this roadmap.
I'll tell you two things over here. One is the generic prioritization that we had to do. This is purely on try and fail basis. All right. So there is an ethic firm which is actually going down because we were making amazing revenue at one point of time. And then we had call insights, which is in the ground, and we have to lift it up. So I and the other people in my team, the core team, we divided our JDs and everything. We divided responsibilities. If someone is lacking somewhere, we used to go put in a couple more extra hours over there. So we had all of that figured out, and we know that the ethic, we had to keep it floating because that is our revenue making machine. And the call insights, the new HR tech startup, we have to bring it up from the ground because that is going to be the game changer for all of us, simple as that. And we just prioritized accordingly, and we made sure that we hire one person for both the entities depending upon where we need them. We used to switch them across, because in the tech startup we had a small tech team, but we even hired more developers only for call insights. And we used to switch this tech team in between a tech product and call insights in between both of them, because we already had a team there and we need not spend more money. And apart from that, rest everything we just prioritize. We know that this is a business use case, this is our north star metric. If I do this activity, where are we going? It's simple as that. Where are we going? Is it pushing us towards our north star metric, or is it finishing any of our goals, etc.? Based on that, we used to prioritize across. But when we are building the HR tech startup, which is call insights, we have to build features. Now for features, there are prioritization metrics like Moscow, there is rice prioritization metric. All of these things are there. So now based on these prioritization metrics, we used to figure out which feature to build and which feature to build and which feature not to build. But there is one thing that has been constant always, that is emotional balance, or me bringing my emotions into it. What do I mean is, apart from all these prioritization metrics, I always used to ask myself, will my viewers or will my users notice if this feature goes out missing in my product tomorrow? If the answer is yes, then I used to continue building that feature or continue doubling down on that particular feature. And if it's a no, then I know that it's a scrap feature and I used to just scrap it down or not work more on top of that. Simple as that.
All right, efficient model. In terms of that, what do you think is wrong with these modern day CEOs or medium scale enterprises, or the basically trying to work on a problem no one else has? What do they mess up in leadership?
The very primary thing starts with the person mindset and the ideology behind this particular person on how he executes things. Simple as that. Let's take example of starting a startup or a business. You know that there is a problem. Until and unless you faced it personally, or someone you know firsthand faced it personally, you can't bring good solutions onto the table.
Okay,
So there is a problem, and then
empathy is core.
yeah, you got a problem and then you figured out a solution, and based on the solution you have built a product for it. Now that is how the line should follow. But a lot of founders nowadays, at least the first time founders, what they do, or modern founders, what they do is, they build a solution, or they know that this is a very good solution, and then they relate the solution to a problem, and then after they validate it, that is when they build a product. Or simply to put in, they build a product and then they connect that to a problem. Simple as that. That is the reverse psychological way which how things shouldn't work across, or how things will not work across. That is one. And second thing is, a lot of founders glorify about themselves, glorify about hustle culture and everything on LinkedIn. I also used to do it. But the main problem comes in where, when you post about your burnout on LinkedIn, and when you understand that your employees are also feeling burned out or facing this burnt out, you should cater to your employees first and not to your personal brand. When you know that your ship is sinking, you have to make sure that you get into the ship, seal all the holes, rather than sitting on LinkedIn and posting that, my ship is sinking, five truth stories about sinking ships. Oh, I faced this firsthand. 10 things that a startup founder shouldn't do. No, fuck it. If you know that you're a sinking ship, all you got to do is make sure that your startup stays afloat, not going onto LinkedIn and bragging about it or buying media articles to glorify what you're doing. So this culture or this founder's mindset is something that I have a very big problem with. And also a lot of people to say a lot of people to say about this. Being a founder is I listen to my own things. There is no one that can tell something to me. I also had a same understanding, simple as that. Now when I'm building my product, if I'm a founder for myself, I shouldn't listen to anyone. But being a founder building this product, I'm listening to my customer who's paying me money.
Yes.
So literally I'm working for him, I'm not working for myself, I'm working for him. So there is this concept where I don't want to work.
Customer is king.
Yeah, there's no concept where if I'm become a founder, if I start my startup, I need not listen to anyone. No, fuck it, you still have to listen to your customers because they are giving you money, simple as that. So a lot of people, again, a lot of college students do get exploited on this by listening to a lot of startup founders who glorifies startup culture or who glorifies being a founder as amazing. No, because at least in the last 3 years there were more than 16 months where I didn't take a salary. There were more than sleepless nights where I drank water and slept. There were a lot of nights where I only had 50 rupees to have food. Minimum one plate biryani in Hyderabad costs 100 rupees, and I only had 50 rupees. I used to go eat one or two plate idlis, come back home, drink some water or make some juice at home and then sleep. Or I used to borrow credit cards or borrow money from friends. Fortunately, because I had good friends who are working or good friends who are wealthy, they were able to give it. But all of this is over glorified, and seeing just the positives or the glorified part of it, all the college students and everyone who wants to be the first time founder just jumps into it, and that is how they end up getting stuck in this net.
All right. All right. So it has been a long conversation and a very interesting conversation so far. I want to finish off with a rapid fire, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
One book you would recommend every founder to read.
uh no, I'm a very bad person. I'm very bad person in books, but one book that hit me hard is hard things about hard things.
Okay.
No, that is a wrong thing. Let's just skip this question actually.
Okay. If you could have a dinner with any founder in the world, who would it be?
I want to go sit with two people. One of them is Paytm's founder. The other one is Cred's founder, Kunal Shah.
All right. What personal habits or routines you use or you implement daily to stay sharp? Sorry.
Okay, one thing that I do is I have perplexity and there are perplexity tasks. There are a lot of learnings, or I want to stay updated with a lot of things. So my day starts with it. And right after that, the first 1 hour I spend not in meetings but writing down things. And one good thing that has helped me in life is I write down a lot. I write down a lot. Whatever idea that I get, I just right now I record it in voice and it just types it out, but I just write it down and make sure that everything is present in writing so that later on I can just sit back and collect back my ideas and build something on top of it.
All right. What's the 3 a.m. idea that still excites you today?
Yeah, it's not about building a startup, but it is about taking a break for good 1 year, which I have right now, but I'm unable to fulfill it, use it to the fullest. Where I just take a break for good 1 year and I just backpack across India, shooting a lot of stories, collecting a lot of memories, and making a documentary of it, right, starting from Kashmir to coming down to Kanyakumari.
A movie you would recommend to a fellow founder.
The Social Network, not just because of the story of the Facebook, but about if you're a founder, make sure that your paperwork is actually very good and your collaborations and everything are very strong.
All right. In short, the biggest misconception in AI so far.
In AI,
Yeah.
that AI can replace all your jobs. No, it's not. That's just because AI will double down on a lot of things. Even if it eats a lot of entry level jobs, it's gonna give a rise to a lot of newer jobs or newer industries that are gonna fetch a lot more better bucks than what is existing right now.
Yeah. And Drahas, thank you for doing this. It has
Thank
been
you.
a wonderful, lovely conversation. I learned a lot of things, and trust me, if it was not for the camera battery, I wanna do a longer podcast, maybe a month or second when there are developments.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I
Yep.
felt amazing. Meerandaru kuda make sure that you drink enough water, Neil Tagandi, and if you like this, follow good boss.